Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, which was my July wrap-up. So a lot of my books I'll have to post as pictures on the screen because also this setup is just not what I wanted. I was thinking about having my computer screen right here having like something on it and making it all cute and stuff, but then the window was looking weird because it's very gloomy today. So I'm sitting at this thing. Also, you might hear some noises in the background because Pocus, my cat, is walking around. She literally just walked right past me, and I know my dog is right down below me, so we have a lot of noises going on. But anyways, a lot of my books I did read on the iPad, so I don't have them as a physical copy, but that is okay. So anyways, I read them as ebooks. So I have my planner here so I can remember everything that I read this month. But the first book, I'm going to go in order of what I've read. This is the first book that I read this month, or this past month in July. It is Cece's Journal. This is the first book of the series, but actually it's technically the first two books because the first two are in this, and then the next book has the last three. There's only 5 books in the series, but it's a graphic novel, and it actually has like such beautiful illustrations, and the story was so well written, and I just really enjoyed this book. It was a quick, easy read. This book, I'm trying to remember exactly what happened because it's been so long since I've read it, and sometimes I don't really write. At the back of my planner, I have a book review section, and sometimes I'll write in my thoughts on the book and sometimes I won't. But the first story, I don't really remember exactly the difference of the stories. I'm trying to remember. The first story I'm pretty sure it had something with a secret. Like, she's very Nancy Drew. I don't really know how else to describe it, but it's like Nancy Drew, she wants to solve mysteries, and then because she's so focused on the mystery, she kind of pushes away her relationship with her friends and her mom, and then she ends up trying to figure out basically how to balance everything in her life, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it, but that's the best I can do with this book. But it's actually really cute and such a quick, easy read because I did want to read something that was lighthearted and fun and easy after watching the Stranger Things finale. So there's that book. I have hit now into August. I've actually read 2 books so far in August, and I'm almost to my 70th, I can't even say that word, book 70, I'm just going to say it that way, book 70 of the year, which I'm trying to hit 100 books by the end of the year. But anyways, that was my first book. I got into reading Girls Who Code because the girl that wrote Recipe for Disaster, which I have a whole vlog on this one back in February. I read this book, but it's by Amy Lucido, I think is how you say her name, and I loved this book. But she wrote a book called Emmy in the Key of Code, and she kind of got the idea for that book through the Girls Who Code series, so I wanted to read that series first. And this series was so easy to read. The books were literally 65 pages, so I zoomed through these books so fast. But they were basically a group of girls who love to go to STEM classes and code and robotics and all that type of stuff. And there's a mystery behind it. It was really good. And I did say that it was there's relatable storylines, but also I figured out, I kind of predicted what was going to happen. It was very predictable, but also I remember it kind of focusing on each individual girl. In one book it would be one girl, the other book it would be another girl, and it went through the whole group of girls, if that makes sense. So that was really cool. But then when I went to read Emmy in the Key of Code, I also gave, Cece's Journal I gave 4 stars. And then the Girls Who Code I gave 5 stars because it was really well written for being a short book series. But the Emmy in the Key of Code, that was the main book I wanted to read, I ended up getting 2 stars because it was not that great. I did not like it as much as I liked this book. So yes, I have to say that I was kind of disappointed in that book. And then after that book, I also want to mention that in my TBR, July TBR video. In my July TBR video, I actually mentioned that I was going to try to read some Tessa Bailey, some Emily Henry, some Colleen Hoover, and I actually only got to one out of all those types of books. I only got to one of them this past month, but I will get to that in a minute. But like before that, I also read, let's see, let me find it. I also read Surfside Girls, which I gave 3 stars because it gave me H2O vibes, and I don't know, just this book wasn't what I was expecting it to be. I was kind of a little bit disappointed in it, and I don't know how to explain it. I thought it was gonna be more adventurous, and it just turned out to not be what I was expecting it to be. So I don't know how to explain it, but that is what my thoughts are on this book. I actually read a graphic novel every Friday of the month of July. So Cece's Journal was my first Friday. This was my next Friday. And then my next book that I actually read, because I think I took like a week off of reading, and then I ended up reading Garlic and the Vampire, and I gave it 5 stars because it was just so cute, and I cannot wait to see what happens in the next book. But the like illustration, the personality of Garlic and everything like that, like all of it was so cute, and it was a little bit predictable, I feel like, but at the same time it was actually a really cute, fun, like fall vibes type of graphic novel, and I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see what happens next in the series. And then my next book that I read is actually going back to the Emily Henry, Tessa Bailey, those types of books. I read Beach Read by Emily Henry, and I gave it 4 stars because it gave me Hallmark vibes, but also mixed with The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock in it. Oh my gosh, I have the hiccups. It had a ton of Taylor Swift references, and I feel like because the banter and like the sarcasm that they had reminded me of The Proposal, and then it gave me Hallmark cutesy vibes, and then it also gave me a little bit of The Fault in Our Stars vibes. I don't know, just like it had a mixture of a lot of my favorite things that I like in one book, which was really cool. And it had a lot of like little references. Like if I actually had it as an actual copy, that would be one of the books that I would tab things through, like all the Taylor Swift references, all the banter that I thought was funny. Like I would definitely tab that book, but I did not get it as an actual copy. I had it on my iPad, which I could still tab it, but it just looks cooler when it's like in real life being tabbed rather than like random highlighting in like a typed up book, if that makes sense. But then I got into, because of that book took me forever to finish, so I ended up switching to reading spooky middle grade books instead of sticking with my like original plan of reading like Colleen Hoover and like romancy type books, because I knew that book took me a while to get through, and it was a lot slower, and I wanted something that I could easily read in like 2 to 3 days, like with no problems, and not wanting to like drag it on because I was kind of bored with the storyline and stuff like that. So because those types of books are not my favorite. I love like middle grade spooky books, or like just adventure books. Those are like more of my style of reading. So my next book that I actually read was called Midnight at the Barclay Hotel, and this one was actually recommended by Keisha from A Book Like You, and she's actually recommended like a lot of my spooky middle grade books, so I was really excited to check off some of these books that she has recommended recently. But this one I gave 5 stars. It was so good. It was very like, if you like murder mystery parties, like where you have to like guess what happens to some, you know, like how somebody died or whatever, and like if going to a party and you're dressed up as all the characters and like that type of thing, it had that vibe to it, and it was so good. It had a lot of like crazy cliffhanger things happening, a lot of like spooky things happened, and they get called to go to this hotel because the owner passed away randomly, but one of the adults is who did it, but they're trying to figure out who did it, and all the kids come together and try to figure it out. It's really good, and I loved it. And then I actually read it in 2 days, and then the next book I read is this little tiny graphic novel called Cheese Sweet Home, and this book is so cute. If you love cats, you will love this one. But the graphics in this, and the cat, oh my gosh, the cat reminded me so much of Pocus, my cat. And like the way that the cat talked, it talked in like almost like a baby voice, and it was so cute. And just the way that it acted with like learning how to use a litter box, and like how to understand living with it in a human environment versus like out in the wild like she was. And it is such a cute series. I kind of want to read the whole series now because it was so cute and fun, and I finished it in like literally less than 30 minutes. I read it during reading sprints with Sarah from Sarah's Reading Nook, and it was so cute. I loved it. And then I gave it 3 stars actually, and then I went back to my because I wanted to read all of my graphic novels every Friday, so that was reading that. And then I went back into my spooky reads, which was Ghost Girl, and this book I gave 5 stars. It hit really close to home for me, and it also it like talks about a lot of things that my mom and I talk about all the time, and like and also what I thought was interesting is that there's a part when one of the other characters, their mom's nickname for them is Chicken, and I call my cat and my dog little chickens, and I'll be like, come on little chickens, let's go, and like I call them that, so it's really funny that happened. And the book, it actually made me cry at the end, which is like shocking because I never cry at books. Like, it's very rare that I ever do. I want to say, I honestly don't remember recently like having that with a book, but I remember reading Safe Haven from Nicholas Sparks when it first came out, and then the movie coming out, and I read it before I saw the movie, and I cried at that one. Like, really was shocking. It had a very crazy ending. But yes, so that one literally hit me right in the feels. So I would recommend reading Ghost Girl because it was such an interesting storyline. She basically ends up being able to see ghosts basically, and she has she goes on a really intense, crazy adventure with her friends, and trying to just figure out and navigate how she's supposed to live life knowing that she has this ability. The last book of the month that I was able to fit in the very last little bit of the month was the first book of the Small Spaces series. My thoughts on Small Spaces, I gave it 3 stars. It was very predictable to me. I could guess everything that happened pretty much, and it was scary, but it wasn't as scary as I was expecting it to be. It was a little spooky, I will say, and I ended up not ever reading it in the dark because I did not want to be like having nightmares and stuff. But I will say, with that being said, like, I would recommend finishing the series, because I was actually thinking about going and reading night books, and everybody on Instagram was like, no, you need to finish the series. So I went and read the second book, and I will say the second book is a lot spookier than the first one. So I would recommend continuing the series if you don't think that one's like that great, if you decide to read Small Spaces. But yes, so I'm very excited to see. Actually, the 4th one comes out next Tuesday. It's called Empty Smiles, and it's got creepy clowns in it, so I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with that. But Small Spaces has creepy scarecrows, so it's very fall vibes, and like corn mazes, and like a farm, kids going on a field trip, that kind of thing. It is now the end of August, and as I'm filming this portion of the video, and I was going to go and combine July and August's book reviews in the wrap-ups. So let's go ahead. I actually read 7 books this month, and which I was not expecting to read that many at all because of how my month has been. But my first one that I read was part of the Small Spaces series, which is Dead Voices, and I also read Dark Waters, and I also read Empty Smiles. So I read the last 3 of the Small Spaces series. Dead Voices was the creepiest one out of all of them, I would have to say, and it was like a haunted, they go to like the ski lodge that used to be an old orphanage that's actually haunted, and like taxidermy animals come to life in some way, and that really freaked me out. And then like there's like this lady that's like after them, that's like a ghost that like traps them in place. It's very, very scary. And so it's a little creepy, but it was probably my favorite one out of the whole series. And then Dark Waters was not as scary at all. It was kind of almost like a filler book, I feel like it just wasn't that great of a book. It was about them going on a boat ride around where the Loch Ness Monster is supposedly at, and they go and try to like find the monster or whatever, and like go on this like little excursion, and they end up on this like creepy island, and all these things happen, and like this fish is like after them or something. It's really random and weird. And then Empty Smiles is the newest one, and actually the final one of the series, and that one is about them going to like a carnival with clowns. And if you like that kind of vibe, you probably like that book. But it's about like basically the whole storyline is revolving around a carnival with creepy clowns that are trying to like turn people into dolls. So that was very interesting. And then I actually read the first book of the Shadow School series, and this book follows a girl, I forgot her name, but it follows a girl and going to a new school, that the school is actually very ancient and very old, and it is a school that actually has a lot of ghosts in it, and she ends up being able to see them, as well as the boy that she becomes friends with, he can see them as well, but he's like known about them for longer because he's been at the school longer. And then her other friend that she becomes friends with can't see them, but still helps them like help the ghost out, because they end up like helping the ghosts move on and stuff. And then they like get into this whole mess about the like history of the school and things, and like the teachers get involved. It's a whole thing, and it's very the girl in there reminds me a lot of Coraline. But so yeah, so there's that for that book. I also forgot that I needed to tell you my ratings for things. As you can tell, I have not done this in a while. My rating for Dead Voices was 4 stars. My rating for Dark Waters was 3 stars. Shadow School I gave 3 stars. Empty Smiles I gave also 3 stars. And then I reread the Inheritance Games, which this is what it looks like, the Inheritance Games. And I also reread the second one because the third one actually just got to my house today. And I'm so excited to start reading it. I'm actually going to be reading it for the Upside Down Readathon, and it's starting next week, but I am too excited to wait till Monday to start reading it, so it's going to be starting to be read today. And those books I have given, I'm pretty sure I gave both of those 5 stars, maybe 4 stars. I can't remember. It was like a while back that I read them in the beginning, but I reread them, so I didn't want to, like, since I already had reviews for them in my planner, I did not like re-review them, if that makes sense. I just wanted to reread them for like for me to remember what happened in the story and have it fresh in my mind for the final book. And then the last book that I read this month was Anyone But Ivy Pocket. It's the first book in the Ivy Pocket series. There is 3 books total of the series, and it actually was not how I was expecting it to be. I did not expect it to go into like ghost things and like paranormal stuff, and she is like this very interesting character. I don't know how to explain her, but she reminds me a lot of the main character in the Gilded Girl series, as well as a little bit of Coraline in a way. And she she finds out that she goes on this quest to give a necklace that was given to her by somebody else to a little girl. And so she goes to this girl's house, and like all this chaotic mess happens because of this necklace. And like the necklace can like show you like your past, present, and future, and it can like tell you things and stuff, and there's like a whole mystery behind this necklace. And I don't really know how else to explain it, but it was something like that. And there's like a lot of different characters in this book. Too many that I couldn't keep up with half of them, to be completely honest. But it actually was a really easy book to read. It was only 150 pages, so it was super quick and easy to read. And yeah, so that was pretty much everything that I read for the months of July and August. And in September, I'm planning on participating in 3 readathons, so I should have plenty of books to review in the end of September, as well as having a bunch of content out. I'm making a goal for myself to post at least once a day on Instagram, like an actual photo, and then post, you know, throughout stories throughout my day, but at least an actual photo post once a day. And then I have some reel ideas that I want to post, so I'm very excited for those. So get ready, make sure to follow me on Instagram, because my Instagram is about to be so aesthetically pleasing and I am so excited for it. And I'm trying to think of what else. Also, I have a lot of YouTube content coming your way, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm also planning on filming, I'm planning on filming 2 parts of the Upside Down readathon next week. I'm going to film the first 3 days of the readathon, edit and upload those, and then film the last 4 and then post that, so the actual full week will be put into 2 parts. So I think that's what I'm going to go for, but that's just something for you to look forward to. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, because I'm so close to 150 subscribers, and there's just a lot of content, fall content coming your way. Spooky, cozy, fun, chilling, like, I'm so excited for the whole fall season. Also, give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!